This week's episode is brought to you by our very proud sponsor, Slab Cards, who specialize in card grading with PSA and SGC. Slab Cards are authorized PSA dealers, and card grading starts from $54.95 and includes full insurance, secure storage. Slab Cards have 2 tons of backgrade safes, 24-hour surveillance, and are located in a guarded, monitored building. All cards are scanned on arrival and are available to you for viewing at any time, and Slab Cards provide automatic progress notifications. Your submissions also come with complete tracking and notifications from start to finish. Slab Cards also offer specialized shipping services, domestic shipping service with up to $10,000 insurance per parcel, domestic secure hand-to-hand shipping service delivery within 24 hours of pickup, and international shipping with up to $150,000 of insurance per parcel. Contact Slab Cards for a quote at slabd.com.au, that's slabd.com.au, and also find them at 60 Weymount Street in Adelaide. Thanks very much for supporting us, Slab Cards.
Welcome everyone to episode 32 of the You Can't Comp This NBA Trading Card Podcast. I am your co-host, Adam Amy, and alongside me, or across from me, in the virtual world anyway, above me on the screen.
Virtually, absolutely.
Is Russell Gibson. Russell, how are you?
Good evening, mate. I am very, very well today, actually, and the weather's been very kind to us, actually. So
it has. Well, there's no basketball to watch.
Beautiful.
There's no basketball to watch. We better get outside. We don't get a Game 7. We were deprived.
I don't think Steph wanted to go to Game 7. That was the general gist of what I was feeling from Game 6.
Yeah, no, I thought it was going 6 the whole time, so you can go back to previous episodes. Steph Curry finally got his Finals MVP award with an emphatic win in the Garden for Game 6. And the Golden State Warriors are back. I guess those long-suffering Golden State fans.
Long-suffering. Oh, don't give me that. Next year,
sorry, a friend of mine always calls Golden State Warriors
long-suffering.
Yeah, well, he goes for Phoenix, so he always refers to any team that's had recent success, and by recent, I mean in the last 20 years, long-suffering. So, yes, Congratulations to the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, huge congratulations. I think the way that they bounced back, really, because they were a team that was just in shambles for a couple of years with injuries. And
it was a very emotional, watching the ceremony was very emotional. Steph said this one meant more like Draymond, Clay, like the journey that Clay Thompson's made back from injury. And then you've got the new guys. You've got Wiggins and Jordan Poole. It's sort of this dynasty they're a dynasty now for sure. Certainly.
No doubt about it. They can be called a dynasty. And I think there's so many storylines for me. I think number one is Wiggins for me.
Yep.
Steph and Clay is kind of like 2A and 2B, but if you force me, I'd probably say Steph, and then I would say Clay. I think Clay's a great story, and I mean, even Draymond was kind of interesting, really, the way he bounced back. And
well, he copped a lot of criticism, didn't he, through this series?
Benched,
he did. He complimented the Boston fans. He said they gave him hell, and he responded. I think we got our Draymond Green game in Game 6. Like it was one of those, like he was everywhere, he was doing everything.
That's as good as it gets for Draymond these days, isn't it? Really,
it's like the triple double or the almost triple double, where it's just like a little bit of everything, and he hits a couple of threes. Like that was. Even the commentators are like, he's feeling it. And like, what do you mean he's feeling it? He's missed all series. Like, he's hit one 3.
Yeah, that's right. He's feeling it.
He's just happy he got one shot in. But, look, all credit to Boston. They did amazingly. I underrated them a lot this season. And, they gave it everything. The Warriors have just got the experience. They were ready. And look, they got the job done. It's been an interesting season, to say the least.
I think probably the Warriors had a lot more offensive firepower. I think that's fair to say that. And then probably the thing for me that's a little bit underwritten or hasn't been spoken about enough is that actually their defense was quite good.
Yeah.
And as much as my gut feeling about Boston was that they weren't going to have enough points on the board to keep up with any team that made it into the finals from the West.
Yeah.
And I was actually very surprised because it seemed like I was very wrong about that, and they were putting a lot of points on the board, and their D was still pretty good. But then I probably think the thing that caught up to them in the end of the day was they just couldn't get enough points on the board. But the thing
Yeah.
that I didn't see coming was Tatum. I didn't think that Tatum was going to be the problem in their offensive action. So that's the thing that really I was right and I was wrong about.
Is it a blip?
I actually think, again, we're not giving the Warriors enough credit for their defensive capabilities.
Look, when I was watching Game 6, the commentary throughout this was, have you noticed that after the hiccup that was Game 1, where they blew that 24-point lead, right?
Yeah.
And they lost Game 1. Since then, their defense has been on point. Like they've found another level defensively after that slip, and they do. Draymond Green is a defensive player of the year.
He's
Andrew
a very
Wiggins
intelligent defender. Yeah,
like Wiggins is like the reason he's an all-star is like his defense. Like they're actually a lot better. And Clay used to be amazing.
Yeah,
and Clay is getting back to the.
Yeah, he actually looked, I thought, better as the series went on. That was, that really surprised me too.
Yeah, it's the
we
Warriors.
Stay with Wiggins? Can we do that?
Can we what?
Can we stay with Wiggins and
stay with Wiggins? Oh, look, I've got plenty to talk about Tatum. We're going to rip him apart eventually, but let's go to Wiggins. I was super impressed. Let's go with the winners. We can talk about the runners-up later on.
Yeah.
Steph got Finals MVP.
Yeah.
But the standout and the next in line for Finals MVP, he was second in voting by the sound of it. From what I know, that in the rankings that they were saying that Andrew Wiggins, if Steph had a quiet Game 6 and Wiggins had another game, a repeat of Game 5, Wiggins could very easily have been the Finals MVP.
In a hypothetical sense, yes, I can see how you can make that argument, but I think deep down in my heart, Steph.
There was no one that was voting against Steph.
Steph was the engine that was keeping that team going. And what did he have? Realistically, he had 2 bad quarters that contributed to him having 1 bad game. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Let's sort of keep it real there. But I think for me, the number one story for me is Wiggins. And I think what's really shown out for this is a supportive environment, the correct role on the correct team. And then he had all the talent in the world. I think that's why he went, number one. He's been a 20-point, plus per game scorer. And then he literally just put everything together, the defense, the rebounding.
Yeah.
He was scoring on mismatches really well. Like, he was absolutely cooking Derek White. That was the thing that probably, yes, he can, make buckets and stuff like that, but just the way that he was really picking his spots and just cooking people, when he needed to and when he could, that's what I was.
He was taking advantage. I guess someone like Wiggins.
Yeah.
And it has been. There's a lot of pressure on his shoulders.
Yeah.
He was carrying the weight of the world in Minnesota when he started.
Yep.
That was the thing. He was the scorer. Like but it was him and Towns, right? It's always been Karl Anthony Towns. But Wiggins there was pressure to succeed. At the moment, on the Golden State Warriors, he's not the first option. Hell, he's not the second option. And there'd be question marks over him being the third option. And he probably is. But when there's no pressure on you to be a dominant scorer,
I think that's
get
the most
to work
important.
and play a
Whether
role.
he's the second or third option, he's not the first, and I think that's what's important for him.
And this pressure is just gone, but the talent's still there.
Yeah,
so do you know what I mean? Like he
can do everything, and I think
hang
that's
on a second.
the thing. Yeah,
I'm on this team that's won 3 championships and has still got the shell, like the main pieces together. I'm a number 1 draft pick, and I'm the go-to scoring guy on another team. I don't have to do that anymore. I just play my own game.
And he seems
whatever
very
the coach wants me to do, I'll do.
Yeah.
Now focus on your defense. Get better on defense. That was his biggest criticism.
Yeah, and he was the primary defender on Tatum. And look, they switched probably more than I was expecting. So he didn't spend every minute on Tatum, but at the same time, he spent a lot of time on him, and he gave him a lot of trouble. And again, I'm sort of repeating myself just from a couple of minutes ago, but I think maybe what hasn't been said enough is how well he defended Tatum and how much trouble he gave him. And did that contribute to Tatum's, shooting percentage? I 100% think that that is absolutely the case, and you have to give him credit for that. And look, he's a champion, so
Yeah.
he's got all the credit in the world. But for me, I just think that we're not giving this guy enough attention and not looking at him. And I suppose, considering we're a sports cards podcast and not a sport podcast, I think we have to start going through his card prices. So for me,
I'll get the screen off.
I am really, really surprised about this. So I'm looking at his PSA 10 silver, pop count 71. He's up and down. Even in the last couple of weeks, he's been very up and down. It last sold for 337 USD.
What's this? The Silver Prism?
Yeah, the 10.
Might sparkle, fast break. Yeah, I'm just looking it up on bringing it up on my screen. That's all right.
And I think,
whoa, there's
for
a
me,
drop off.
where I'm going with this is cards. Everything at the moment is trending downwards in cards.
Of course, where like economic, like with the way the card economy is.
Yeah.
You're not expecting to see huge positive trends.
And look, there's you don't need to listen to us to hear all the chit chat that's out in the community on Twitter and all that type of stuff, and the general sort of negativity. So look, I feel that this is actually something that's going to slide down, because I don't think he's someone that's particularly that well collected. We're heading into the off season. I think guys that were going to be offloading, that were holding him, probably would be. I just think that, I mean, look, we've already done a segment on him, so look, I don't want to go into this sort of too much more, but, he's still young. I think he's got a lot of potential, and also the team that he's on too. There's nothing horrible that's, sort of surrounding that team that makes me think they can't go back and win another one in the next couple of years, because they've still got Kuminga sort of waiting in the wings.
Yep.
Moody's still there. Wiseman, I don't think that the story's been written on that yet, whether he comes into the team or he becomes an asset. I just think they've got a lot of potential. So I'm very high on this. In saying that, I do think in the next couple of months, this might even trickle down, a little bit.
So you're keep it. Jayson Tatum's basically a watch this space now to see if
let's hold
dips.
Tatum, because I think Tatum's a whole another thing. But specifically for Wiggins, I think he's someone that should be in your watch list. And
do you really think he's going to stand out in this list? Because we've spoken him as a third guy. I don't
believe he's the third option on that team. I think he's easily the second option on this team. And the way that he played in the finals, for me, he was easily the second best player on the court. To me, it wasn't even a conversation. So
I worry. The only thing that concerns me about him as a spotlight player, or collectability wise, is it's defense that defines his rise. And defensive players have never been the most collectible in I suppose a market or a hobby perspective. Like, defense isn't the most enticing thing for collectors.
Yeah, I agree with that. But he can also rebound. He can assist, and he
can rebound better than most people on the floor. It? He got 17 rebounds in Game 5.
Yeah.
I'd like to put another spin on the Wiggins. And we'll go. It's Wiggins versus Tatum, right? In this, it was the matchup. Andre Iguodala, and this is probably why I was strong that Wiggins might have had a shot at that Finals MVP. Andre Iguodala and Kawhi Leonard have both won Finals MVPs, shutting LeBron James down. They won the Finals MVP because of their defensive effort on LeBron James.
Yeah,
that's a summary more than a. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Iggy played defense on LeBron, and that was the difference. That LeBron wasn't as dominant as he used to be.
Yeah.
And in Tatum's defense, I think this could be in a similar vein. That Tatum was just shut down because Wiggins was playing that like Finals MVP level of defense. So I think. Yeah, look, I think Wiggins is an essential piece in that Warriors roster, and is a key reason that they got where they got to this year. They got to the top.
Yeah.
But as far as the hobby goes, I don't see where the new collectors of Wiggins come from.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, the focus is on that on the 4-time champion, 2-time MVP, first-time Finals MVP, Steph Curry.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like this is a.
I
At
don't.
what point do
I
you
don't
make
particularly.
aside? Yeah.
I don't disagree with what you're saying, but I'll just add 2 points to what you've just said. So you're saying where are the more fans going to come from? Well,
Yep.
he's just been on national TV for say 6 weeks now. 4 weeks, 5 weeks.
Sure. Yeah.
I think that does help him because, to be fair, in Minnesota, he probably didn't get a lot of time on national TV, and particularly the way they used to run ESPN.
Yep.
And their schedule, they literally used to just do Bulls and Knicks, and like the Pels were never on ESPN. Like they've changed that in the last couple of years. I think that's a really good thing for, like, say, Zion and Ja Morant.
For sure.
Second thing is too is, so this is my other point. So look, Wiggins last sold for $340. Jaylen Brown last sold for $458, and Jordan Poole last sold for $564. Right?
Yes. All right. I'll sell my Jordan Pools to buy Wiggins. I'm down with that.
I have no problem looking at that sort of price ratio, buying into Wiggins, considering all the things we just spoke about. He's in the right position. He's got the right role. Even though he doesn't have to score, he still has the talent to score. I think that if Wiggins was at Jordan Poole prices, I wouldn't be thinking or feeling the way I'm feeling about Wiggins right now. So
no, that makes sense. Look, it does. It does make sense.
Yeah,
and I just don't know where the ceiling is. Like Jordan Poole's got that scoring highlight reel score. I don't know what it is, but like,
I don't think you should expect to 3x your money on Andrew Wiggins, but would you expect this guy to keep trickling up over the years? Yes.
I feel like if his defensive skills decline, the card prices just taper off with it. It's tricky.
I suppose the other thing that I'm basing this on too is I have a lot of faith in the Golden State system. So
yeah, that's fair.
I think that team has the potential to be good and improving even over the next 4 years.
Does Wiggins stay once his contract is a lot smaller, or does he go for money? Now he's got his championship.
I mean, he's getting paid at the moment. It's not like he's getting
correct, but at the end of that, they're not going to want to renew at the same price. Because you've got Steph on max. Like,
I think he's got the personality type where he stays.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that could be crucial. I like if he gets money hungry and goes somewhere else to go and be the number one guy again.
Yeah.
Does the performance anxiety kick in, and does he just not perform?
I don't see that in him at all. Honestly, I think he was so happy to be there, and I really think he's found his happy place.
Look, and the Warriors, Draymond said this in the post-game interview. He's like, everyone said he was just a piece that we were going to move on. We never saw him as that. The team never saw him as a piece.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really, really nice to to see in the game, in like just the teammates getting around him.
Yeah.
It might be a whole lot of bull, but yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you to our sponsor, EJ Cards, a small but motivated company specializing in cards. EJ Cards believe passionately in great bargains and excellent service, which is why they commit themselves to give you the best of both. If you're looking for something new, you're in the right place. EJ Cards strive to be industrious and innovative, offering customers something they want, putting their desires at the top of the priority list. Find EJ Cards at www.ejcards.com.au or shop 394 to 398 Middleborough Road, Blackburn, Victoria, and also find them on Facebook. Thank you very much, EJ Cards, for sponsoring us.
All right, let's move on from Wiggins. Do you want to talk about Steph now, or do you want to do Tatum?
Let's go into Tatum because I guess it's a matchup. Wiggins and Tatum we'll call it, they were critical matchups.
Yeah.
I have a question for you because I know how much you're going to love this.
Yeah, hit me.
Jayson Tatum, do you think this is a result of really good defense from Wiggins? Or do you think this guy is going to have a reputation as choking under pressure or not being able to take that step in the big moment?
Yeah, okay. This is easy to answer. So a little bit of it, I think, is that he's a young player and he probably did get into his own head a little bit.
Okay.
And I think, for me, that the reason I said that in particular is because those tweets that came out about him texting Kobe after he passed away, like I think that's something that maybe shouldn't be public.
I don't think the team should have got around that with the 24 on there. Like, the Lakers did that in their championship year, right? And doing this for Kobe, that's because they're the Lakers. Not because, and Tatum, like, I get it. Like, Tatum was a student of Kobe, right? But you can't be their biggest rival and then all of a sudden just attribute everything, try and repeat what the Lakers have already done.
Yeah.
Like, he was trying to create a narrative. And I think it was, I wouldn't go as far to say disrespectful, but he didn't need to create a narrative.
I don't think it was any disrespect, but I more just felt that
I don't think the intent was disrespectful, but I think
those conversations are very private, not public.
Yeah.
And I think, moving forward from that, he's such a young man that he's got so much potential and he's got so much time to, get it right. I've got no worry about this guy at all. And then to answer your question, more specifically, I actually think that, so there's two things in play. He was up against actually a better defensive team than we're giving them credit for, and Wiggins played out of his skin, and then he just put too much pressure on himself. So that's my interpretation of the events. Cool. What's your interpretation?
Well, there's another player that wears the number 0. Currently plays for the Lakers, named Russell Westbrook. That hasn't been able to deal with the big stage so well. He's only been there once, but I'm just wondering, does he end up? Does Tatum? I don't know. He seemed like he was embracing his inner Westbrook through the series. So I don't know. There could be concerns that he's a good regular season player, and come the big moment, maybe he's not ready to step up.
Yeah,
it's he's young, so he's got opportunities. But yes, I've just got it in the chat. Yes, we have to keep in mind he was playing with an injury.
Was he? What injury?
Apparently he having his shoulder was stung a couple of times for the players, but everyone's pretty banged up by this time of the season.
I don't think that's officially released. I'm sorry, I don't think that's correct. Because
you don't reckon he was injured at all?
No, I'm not saying they've all got injuries.
Oh, they're all banged up. Speaking of injuries, what about Gary Payton?
That shoulder thing, that was literally a rumor that was created on Twitter to support the Celtics narrative. So I don't think that's official. Yeah.
What? The internet trying to mislead people? No way.
No, show me an official report. But
no, I get you. But look, they all get banged up. Speaking of it, but what about Gary Payton's return from injury?
I don't understand how these guys get well. I've had a fractured elbow myself. It was wrong for 6 months.
Hyperbaric chambers, millions of dollars of
it just freaks
treatment and
yeah.
things that shouldn't be done to the human body. I don't know.
Yeah,
experimental.
Congrats to him. All right, let's go through Tatum's card prices. I think this is interesting.
I'm looking at his Silver Prism PSA 10 now.
Let's do that. Yeah,
and quite simply, he's down nearly 20%.
Yeah. So
last sold yesterday for $857.
Yeah,
people are jumping off the train.
So, look, we've spoken about Tatum already on the show, and my take on this a while back was I didn't understand why people were paying the prices they were, because they were literally paying for future prices. And so now I've actually seen him play in the finals. It's so funny because I actually feel better about his prices now than I did 6 months ago.
Because about the 850 mark? Or
yeah, because look, the fact that he got this team, which, let's be honest, it's not a perfect team. It's actually quite flawed. There's only realistically 2 positions on that team that are really well covered. The rest of the positions, they're sort of piecing together parts to try and make a whole. And I'm saying that in the most complimentary way possible. And he's taken that team to the finals, and he's really young. I think he's got at least another 10 more years in his prime.
He's got a long way to go. And
if he slides down another 20%, I mean, what do you do then? You have to buy, don't you?
That's the thing. There's got to be a point where you buy on Tatum, because Boston aren't gonna just slide into nothingness.
So his high's been 1,900. What if he slides down another 20%? To sort of 650.
He gets under 600, and you're hitting that.
I don't know, man. I don't think I can go past that.
No, and that's fair enough. Another point that was raised, he did finish with 100 turnovers,
Yeah.
which probably is one of the other reason I was comping him to Russell Westbrook. But yeah, he was a turnover machine. Maybe Kobe taught him that.
Look, part of that is the amount of offense he has to generate, and the other part of it too is how much defensive attention he got.
We'll give credit to Wiggins for that. How about that?
And look, does he have to deal with this? Yes, of course he does. But
look, there's a lot of on turnovers.
He played a lot of minutes,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm saying these are the same criticisms that Russell Westbrook gets in, day out.
Okay.
Bricking shots and turning the ball over.
All right.
That's what's happened on the biggest stage with. Do you know what I mean? The whole world watching and going, this team is on your shoulders.
Look,
He's
I know what you're trying to say, but I disagree. So this is why I disagree. So Westbrook is very numbers driven.
Sure. No, I'm not saying he is Westbrook. I'm saying there's a criticisms that are going to draw this guy into, does he perform in the big moment?
I'm just trying to explain to you why I disagree, because I think Westbrook is very numbers driven and he will do things to generate numbers as opposed to trying to make the right play and create a good shot. Whereas Tatum gets numbers because he's in the right spots and he knows how to make plays. I don't think that Westbrook and Tatum are in the same thing, because one thing that actually did change for Tatum, if you look at his shot chart as the playoffs progressed, he was driving to the basket less and shooting more mid-range jumpers. And I probably think...
I think the Warriors figured that out.
Yeah, and that could be scheming, but I'll probably also say too, that's something Tatum can fix. I think that...
Yeah, that's relative. Yeah.
He'll have time to think about it. He'll think about, where he was trying to get to and what he was trying to do. And I think he can change that.
I think that Tatum, there's a lot more to this than one bad series. I think that Jaylen Brown has established himself as the most reliable player in a big series.
Yeah, sure.
And look, he's got 1 or 2 seasons on him. Is that right? It's two. I don't know. But
so he's 1 year older than him.
He's 1 year older.
Draft year.
Yeah, 1 draft year ahead. Yeah. But I think it was on Tatum's shoulders, and this time around, I'll say this time around, I'm not saying he's the next Russell Westbrook. I'm just saying the turnover thing amuses me, but he's got to get the monkey off his back now.
So I think by the end of the series, Jaylen Brown had better numbers than Tatum.
Yep.
So then you ask yourself the hypothetical question, why isn't Jaylen Brown going to be the number one option next year? And the answer to that is he doesn't have the ball handling skills and he doesn't have the playmaking ability that Tatum has.
Yeah, true.
So, being pragmatic here, I don't think that Tatum can be the number 2 option on that team, and they're a better team. I just don't think that's true.
But yeah, well, Tatum's got some stuff to work through. That's the big thing, is because that was his opportunity to be the guy, and take his team over to the holy ground.
So, hypothetically, we're talking about buying Tatum, selling, holding. Where are you feeling with Tatum?
As I say, you go below 600, you snap by that stuff. You go below 700, you start thinking about it.
Okay. And what about you personally? Are you jumping into this?
On a silver, I'd probably wait till I won't jump on the 700 mark.
Yeah.
But if I do see it below that 600 mark, I just won't be able to help myself.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. You want to move on to the next guy?
Yes.
I think we have to do Steph. I think even if we just give this guy a minute, we just can't not talk about him.
And we just have a moment's silence to appreciate the greatness that is Stephen Curry.
Yeah. So
do we just go straight to his tops rookie?
Yeah, just the tops base. I think that's the most sensible, because his other stuff now is just getting crazy.
Yeah, let's
Alrighty. So he last sold for 10,015K. Now the interesting thing about this that actually took my eye almost straight away is that his high price is 10,098. So even though the card market is depressed, he's back to where back to where it was at the the all-time high stuff. So that to me is really interesting.
That's
and we spoke a little bit about him going back a while, saying
is his numbered stuff going to be, $1 million one day? And this just makes me think, this is where this guy's heading,
Yeah.
I don't see, how does this guy not become $1 million rookie card player, particularly his low numbered stuff?
There was there are a couple of people that have said, as far as achievements go, that he's very close. He's on the precipice of becoming the greatest point guard of all time. There's a lot of people that won't put him above Magic, and I think that's a tough one. They're both very different point guards. There are people that have said he's just a shooting guard in a point guard's body, but there are arguments. If you've got a first team and second team greatest of all time, Steph Curry is in there. That's as simple as it gets.
The Magic argument at the moment, I think you can't answer that just for the fact that Steph's career hasn't finished yet.
Yep.
But if he keeps building out his resume, he keeps winning championships, look, it was unfortunate what happened to Magic, and his career was cut down tragically short.
Yeah.
That's happened, and, he probably would have won more championships if he stayed in his prime for longer, but he didn't, right? So,
yeah, this is true.
And at the moment, Steph's career is not finished. So this, we can't really have this conversation, now, but I personally think at the end of the day, Steph is going to sit above Magic. That stuff about him not being a point guard, I mean, I'm not even going to answer that. It's just ridiculous. Like, the guy is an absolute leader. He's a champion. He's a winner. Like, I just don't even know half the smoke that gets said on Twitter.
Oh, look, there's a lot of people just creating clickbait and trolling. And look, we on another podcast where we actually just do break down the stats and the sports side of it.
Yeah.
We went greatest guards of all time.
Sure.
And we were like, we put Kobe Jordan, Magic, West. There are a couple of there's great company, but if Stephen Curry is not the greatest shooter of all time, I don't care if he's the greatest in his position, literally the greatest shooter of all time, there's nobody better. He's this weird unicorn.
Yeah, I think
like the guy I've never seen a player like this. I don't know. It's weird.
I do wonder, say Larry Bird.
Yep.
I wonder if he played today and how the game has changed, how many threes he would shoot a game. Like, would he shoot 15 threes a game?
I reckon he'd be like a, those stretch fours? Like, he was the original stretch four, wasn't he?
He played three, but yeah, probably in today's game he would play four.
But he played the 3 or 4. But he's one of those wing players that he could step out and shoot it. Yeah? That was the thing. Like, he had players that didn't want to guard him out there on it. I think he was a great shooter, but I don't think he's in that greatest shooter of all time.
Really?
I just don't think Steph can look at the ring from half court and go, that's easy, in.
Yeah. So I need to clarify what I'm trying to say here.
Yeah.
I agree with you that in the volume that Steph shoots and the way that he shoots, and also how much motion he creates and how much attention he generates from defense, like, you can't argue with that.
Yeah.
I'm just sort of wondering that, like, there has been, like, for example, Dirk Nowitzki was an amazing shooter.
Great, fantastic, yeah.
Maybe the same thing as him. Like, if he played today, how many threes a game would he shoot? Because
don't forget Karl Anthony Towns. Sorry. He won the 3-point contest.
Yeah, look, Towns couldn't get it up, but I don't think he's as good a shooter as Dirk. And
No, but he's a self-proclaimed greatest shooting big man. Nice of the big cat to say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, I hear what you're saying as far as
what were you saying?
Shooting the ball.
Yeah.
I just think Steph is one of those players that, and he's just, the range on this kid is phenomenal.
It's ridiculous, yeah. And I agree with you. Half court is his range.
Yeah, he's just like, we're in our half of the court. I can hit the shot.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, not a moment's hesitation. Like, if you don't guard him and there's a reason at the All-Star weekend in the 3-point competition, they've got these extra spots that are way out from the 3-point line.
Yeah.
And that's Steph. It's like there's going to be a point where they're putting it like at 3-quarter court and going, we'll make it difficult for him to shoot it.
Yeah.
With ease and the big and the smile, the joy on his face when he plays basketball is just...
Yeah, he makes it look
I don't
so
know,
easy, doesn't he?
As far as like a dependable shot, like, look, Ray Allen is another one of those great shooters, but Steph is just... I think he's just on a level to his own.
Yep. Yeah, that's fine. To be honest, I don't want to
compare. I don't want to compare guards to figure out who the greatest shooting guard of all time is, because Jordan was in the shooting guard spot, right? So you go point guard, shooting guard, combo, just say guard. Everyone's going to say Jordan. Cool. Steph Curry is the greatest shooter of all time.
Okay.
And it was...
No, I don't disagree.
That defines him, yeah. And that doesn't mean there aren't great shooters out there. I just think he's the best.
Argumentative, Ad.
Oh, come on. Why'd you bring up Dirk Nowitzki?
Yeah.
Cat's a modern-day player. He's told the world he's the greatest shooting big man.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's more of a crack at a friend that goes for Minnesota.
All right. Final thoughts on Steph.
I really want him to win another title.
Really?
I just...
He's a likable dude, isn't he?
He's way too likable. I don't like the fact that I like him so much.
Yeah.
He's something special. He's, as I said, him and Magic, both. It's that smile, the joy they play the game with. The last time I comped them on the point guard side of things, I'm like, how can someone just bring so much joy to such a stressful job? Yeah. Like, they just went to the Boston Garden. He did it with a big smile on his face and just smacked them in the head.
Yeah.
And said, we're taking the title today, thanks.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, look, Steph, look, that 10K really for the PSA 10 is a bargain. Give it 10, 15 years. That's a $25,000 card.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's something that's going to keep trickling upwards. And I don't think there's any, like, that graph that's trended up. Yes, I'm sure it might trickle down a little bit as the off season goes on, but I think that's something that's just going to be incredibly collectible. And
he's
we talk about pop counts all the time. We talk about pop counts like till the cows come home. Look at the pop count on the base, 365.
Correct.
Like, it's just ridiculous, isn't it?
All right. So I have a question for you. So I don't have 10K to buy a Steph Curry rookie.
Ditto.
Which
US,
I'd love to buy a Stephen Curry rookie.
Yeah.
Right.
Talk to me.
What am I buying? What am I buying if I want a PSA 10? What do I get? Do I get the upper deck? Because I've got last sold on the star rookie base. Stephen Curry, PSA 10, 775. Pop count 1,000.
Look, if that's what fits into your budget, I don't have any disagreement with you purchasing that. But you remember that episode we did and we compared the modern to the old players?
Mm-hmm.
And the two things I took away from doing that exercise is you have to pick the right card.
Yep.
So in this instance, in this era, the right card is tops.
So you have to get the tops. All right.
The
do I buy a PSA
comparison
9?
to tops is Prism, right?
Yeah.
So yes, tops is the right card to purchase. Now, this is a separate argument altogether. So do you buy something that you can afford that's in a lower grade? And if it's the right person and it's the right card, will this keep going up? And the answer is yes. Okay, now this is actually really funny you brought this up, okay?
Okay.
So
I know what I want. And it's only, the last sale was 3,750.
Can we hold with this thought, actually? Because what you've actually brought up is pretty relevant.
Yep.
So I was looking at a Luka Doncic this week, number 250, BGS 9. And I actually texted it to my wife to say, look, I want to talk to you about this. So it has slowly trickled up over the last year, 19%. Sorry, over the last 2 years, it's trickled up 19%. Now, it's not, BGS isn't even the preferred grading company. Like, that's all been established.
Yeah.
It's not the best grade. It's a 9. If you try to cross it over, looking at the subgrades, I've got no reason to think that's going to go over to a 10. So it's a definite 9, right?
Yeah.
But I think the key point is, as people get pushed out of buying the higher price stuff, so in this instance, it's going to be the PSA 10 stuff, people will then start going down to look at the other things. So it doesn't mean that if you buy the lower graded stuff, that stuff is never going to rise. That's actually not true. In fact, your return on
Yeah.
investment is probably going to be about in the same sort of
Mm.
percentage ballpark as what the other stuff is. But obviously, you're not going to make as
Yeah.
much money because you're not investing as much money. But yeah, so in this instance, though, maybe what you will be better off doing is trying to buy the numbered stuff that's lower graded.
Okay.
And
So, all right. I'm just going to
might
look.
be realistic, but
I think that's, well, I just said I don't have 10K, right?
yeah.
If I'm lucky and say I've got a fantastic accountant and I get a $5,000 tax return.
Yeah, delicious. Yeah. And you say, I want to buy Steph Curry. What's the best card I can get for $5,000?
Yep.
Is that what you're going to say?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, pop count of 500. So, it's a little bit higher than the PSA 10.
Yeah.
But not much. 140, is it 360 to 507? Anyway, I'm looking at the Steph Curry 2009 top, so the same rookie card, BGS 9.5.
Mm-hmm.
Last sold for 3,750.
Okay. So I'm
Is the BGS 9.5 an investment?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I've got no problems with that. The one that I'm looking at now is the gold number to 2009 PSA 7, last sold for 2,887 USD. So
okay,
that's the type of thing that will just keep sliding up. And actually, that's down at the moment. That's down 15%.
That's actually down a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, great. That's a good time to buy.
Yeah, it's actually funny. I'm I one of my regrettable sales was a PSA. Sorry, a BGS 8. I think it was an 8 or an 8.5. Yeah, it was a Kobe rookie that I really shouldn't have got rid of. And yeah, you sort of look back and go, probably should have kept that. Probably should have kept that.
Yeah.
Because even the grade, it's not a 10, but hell, it's a numbered card.
If it's the right player and it's in the right set,
it doesn't matter.
That's the stuff that you hang on to. Yeah,
and that's we're talking about an industry where basically it's a supply demand thing, right? So if the supply is low and demand is high, people are going to be looking for anything they can get of a player. Now the numbered stuff is never going to exceed the pop count of the number allocated.
Yeah.
So the numbered stuff's probably where
it's never going to be 17K, is it, mate?
Yeah. Yep. I'm sure we're at 25,000 Zions by now, aren't we? Or Lucas?
I haven't looked for a while, man.
We should do a pop count check on Luka and Zion in the news.
Why don't we do it next week? Because we're already up to 45 minutes.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair point. Well, we did have some, like, we had the NBA Finals talk about, and the Finals MVP. We
had to talk about this stuff. Yeah,
I think the Finals MVP was a great discussion point. Everybody's talking about him. I think having this discussion specifically, like talking about the price differences and what options people have, is good. Like, it actually, I wasn't going to look at the BGS 9.5 as but it's less than half the price of a PSA 10. If it puts it into an investment opportunity, it's not always the way to go. But you've also given numbered cards even at a lower grade. Yeah,
so the whole thing about PSA and BGS at the moment, actually, I think it's out of proportion. Because BGS, there's nothing wrong with the work that BGS do.
Correct.
The fact that the market is swayed so heavily towards PSA, I actually think in some ways it means it's an opportunity. And
I was going to say that as swings and roundabouts, really.
It's also a current swing. So I think also if you're purchasing something that's BGS and you intend to hold it for a while, look, I don't think that, that's
I
terrible.
think Beckett is, there will be a phase where people prefer Beckett.
Yeah.
And there are people out there that can't stand PSA slabs and go, I prefer Beckett.
There's a small group of people out there, but there is a group of people out there, yeah. And, look, you can also still cross it over. If you've got good subgrades and you really feel that terribly about it, there's nothing to say that you can't crack it out and send it to PSA. So, do you know what I mean? It's not like it's the end of the world.
Yeah. Correct.
All righty, let's move on. Let's talk about this LeBron triple logoman. It's got...
Oh, you put this question up. We're in the countdown, so hopefully we'll
it's got 6.5 days to go. So it's at $1.8 million US.
Come on, guys, get bidding. I need to get up to 3.4. That was my guess.
Yeah, so there's been a little bit of chatter around this and around, is this the card that actually is the Grail, and is this the card that you should be buying, and where else can you spend this better money? And I found a really good post on Sports Cards Nonsense on their Facebook group.
Yep.
And I'll leave the person anonymous just for argument's sake. What they posted was the triple logoman 1 of 1 Jordan, Kobe, LeBron. So is actually this the better purchase? And
personally, I'd prefer that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and the reason actually I brought this up specifically is because someone put in a comment in here that was very thoughtfully written, and actually, to be honest, compared to the thousands of other trolls in this thread, very intelligent. So
you love the internet and people on the.
I think I get triggered by trolls way too easily.
Yeah. I was gonna say you've been trolled a few too many times this week by the sound of it.
I set myself up for failure.
Don't believe everything you read on the internet.
Oh, I just get dragged in, Adam. Anyway,
and they're only saying it to make you upset.
Oh, look, they're not trying to make me upset. I know it's not personal, but
they're trying to get anybody they can upset.
Exactly, yeah. I shouldn't reply. Anyway, alrighty. So this is the reply. Beautiful. There are 5 exquisite triple logomen for MJ, Kobe, and LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
There are also 4 MJ Magic Bird triple logomen and 2 MJ Pippen Rodman. That's 11 cards of similar caliber in the sense of holy grails. This LeBron is a one-of-a-kind in this sense of having one logo for each new team that he won a championship with. Not many people can do that, and due to the high value of game-worn jersey, this card is unlikely to be replicated again. That's the only argument. Exquisite has the history, precipitation, prestige, and design factor. Flawless one was a recent released one. I think there's a slight grammatical error there, but
yeah, that's fine. It's yeah.
So I
think the point was illustrated very, very, very
so well, right? Yeah, and clearly he understands, and he's got a knowledge of this sort of the history of cards a lot more intimately than what I do. I think I should definitely acknowledge that. But I think the key point here is essentially if you're comparing pop counts of 1-of-1s, this is like 1 versus 11.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you think about that, Ed?
This is it's an interesting one because we're talking about such high caliber.
Yeah.
Cards. It's not like I'm like, you know what,
lads, like,
it really doesn't impress me all that much. But there's 5 copies of a card. It's not a 1-of-1. 5 versions with Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron, which is phenomenal. I'd love to own one of those 5.
Yeah, any will be fine.
Anyone that wants to send it owns one, wants to send it across. I've got some stuff for trade. But
so
the inability to replicate this is outstanding, right? If I'm a LeBron collector, this is my holy grail, right? I'm not sharing the spot. He doesn't share the spotlight with anyone, but the other cards reach a broader audience and may hit the heartstrings of people differently. That said, the uniqueness of this card, I think, sets it aside from the others.
Yeah, I mean, I do wonder about this card, though, because I feel like at the end of the day, rookie cards are still going to be more popular than anything that's vet. So how this became a holy grail card, I'm talking about the LeBron triple logoman at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of interested to know, like, where that came from. Like, actually, was this sort of a genius marketing campaign from Panini that they kind of, like, launched, like, subliminally online? Do you know what I mean? Like, how did this happen?
So imagine, and I don't know how you do this.
Yeah, but
right,
we don't need facts on this show, Adam. Just
there are particularly there are 2 circumstances, maybe 3.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, actually, there's other plays you can do it with. Let's go back to the first 3-peat the Bulls had. Right. Just imagine for a second that we get a Jordan jersey from each of those playoff series, those finals, and we go a triple logo man Jordan from his first 3-peat. 1 from each year. Does that become the new holy grail? What does that card sell for? 96, 97, 98. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's
whatever this goes for, it will go for
whatever the what was it? The set. The record that the 98 Bulls
All
were
right,
beaten. But like, do you know what I mean? Like,
so let's be
do you just
pragmatic though.
acquire the jerseys?
But this can never happen, right? Unless Fanatics buys Panini and Upper Deck, this is kind of like a moot point.
All right, you ready for the next one?
Because Jordan is lifelong Upper Deck, and
Sure.
Upper Deck can't make licensed NBA stuff anymore, right?
Yeah. All right, that's a valid point. Are you ready for the next two one of ones that I'm gonna say?
Thank you, Adam. It's like when my wife says that I'm wrong. I feel like I'm gonna savor this moment. So.
All right, you ready for the Shaq and Kobe one of ones?
Yeah, sure.
For the same?
Yeah, sure.
The three-peat, the Shaq and Kobe three-peat. There's a one of one Shaq and a one of one Kobe triple logo man.
Yeah.
From those 3 championships.
Yeah, okay. That's
a
cool card.
Like, that,
it's a cool card.
There's ways that you could replicate, and I get the feat that they're talking about. It's one championship with 3 different teams.
Yeah, I have to admit,
you're not setting yourself aside. It's not
that's
happening.
Harder. Yeah.
But it's not something that a card company, especially like we're talking Fanatics, are going to quote unquote revolutionize trading cards, right? Remember when we broke down the manifesto and they're going to think outside the box, and we're all excited that Fanatics and Josh Luber is going to reinvent the wheel. Things are going to get crazy. I think this is the tip of the iceberg, and there's some serious one of one stuff coming. That said, you're never going to replicate this LeBron triple logo man.
Yeah. So I'm going to hold you to this. What card would you choose if you could out of this lot?
One of the Kobe's. Kobe, Jordan, LeBron.
It wouldn't matter to you as long as it had a Kobe. Is that what I'm sort of hearing? Yeah.
But that's me as a collector. I'm you know what I mean? Like I'm a Kobe collector.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like I love Kobe, and to have the 3 of them on it. Like there was a dual jersey auto of Jordan and Kobe, and I'm like, that would be my holy grail.
Yeah,
and it's
So I would probably go for the MJ Magic Bird, just because.
Yeah.
You know.
there's no need to justify it though. Like
okay.
Whatever you answer is the correct answer for you, right?
I just think
because it's not like you're gonna go, oh, you picked that one. That's a trash card. Like they're all just.
No, I think there's just more nostalgia there for me. Whereas LeBron is still in my life now, so maybe when he retires, I'll feel different. Like, okay, actually, it should be the MJ, Kobe, LeBron. But at the moment, I feel like they're kind of a bit more in my past, and I look back on that time in my life a bit more fondly when I was sort of discovering basketball and finding out who, Dr. J was and Magic and Bird, so I don't know.
For sure.
But look, it's
an interesting one.
I'm not trying to smoke you here, but also I'd probably rather Magic than Kobe. So, sorry.
Look, I think my internet's about to drop out now. But yes, look, it's interesting, and it just excites me that they can create cards with some cool stuff on it.
Yeah. Alrighty. This is a tweet from @JustinCuson, and he said, "Extremely cool news for all my trading card collecting pals. After weeks of calling, wondering why my order was in quality control long after it should have been, CSG Cards has emailed me to say we lost it, sorry, regarding one of the rarest cards in my collection." Now, this to me, like, that's terrible, and I'm sure that there's always a percentage that happens, but this is the part that I wanted to discuss with you.
So my question before we go any further, this is
the
new eBay rules about, is that right? Is that?
No, so he was sending a card off to be graded. So CSG...
Okay, cool. I just thought CSG was a third party that was holding a card from an eBay sale.
Yeah, okay, no. So he was sending it off to get graded. So CSG is that one. It's got like the green sort of border on the right-hand side.
Yep.
Relatively new company. Yeah, so they sent him an email back, and basically what they said was, do you have a purchase receipt for the card? So if you received this email, what would your response be to that? The card's numbered to 5.
Would I just send them a receipt for a packet of cards because you can't buy cards individually?
Yeah.
Hi, this is my receipt for my Prism Blaster that I bought from Kmart. You twit.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean,
It would be signed. It would be. I would probably use other expletives, but
yeah, that's right. I think the anger factor is rising at this point.
I'd be.
Yeah.
Actually, no. There are certain points where you go, you know what? An email doesn't say it all,
Mm.
and I would be calling them up very, very promptly and saying what the actual flock is going on.
Yeah. I mean, look, my thought about this is that it's actually amazing. I don't think I have a single receipt for. Think about breaks. You don't get receipts for breaks.
Regulate the hobby. Sorry, what?
Um,
But you can't. This is trading cards. You don't. Not everything is scanned in and sent out. This isn't.
oh no, I suppose you could use eBay stuff as receipts. Couldn't you?
Sure.
I was thinking about singles. I'm like, I don't think I even have a receipt.
Yeah,
for
but on the open market, 90% of business is done on marketplace.
Facebook trades, Facebook purchases, all that stuff is unreceipted.
Correct.
Unless you could use PayPal.
I don't know. Last time I went to a store for a trade day, I made sure I had my inked receipt book there. Any cards I sold came with a tax receipt.
Yeah.
Well, no.
I actually wonder if they've asked him that deliberately because it's almost known in the community that there's not a lot that's actually receipted. Yeah.
But then consumer law and they, you know what I mean? Like, they're going to say, well, you can't prove the card was yours.
I've been following this post to see if he's made any updates, but there's nothing on there to sort of see that there's been
a lot
of
people that like the post. I've been getting notifications on Twitter.
Yeah. So,
but yeah.
I think the last thing to add to is we probably should have said this at the start. The card's numbered to 5. So
no, it's like he says it's the most expensive card in his collection. This isn't a base Jayson Tatum that's just plummeted in value.
I might ask Khalil about this and see what.
Well, maybe we should get the guys that Slab back on. Maybe we'll get Khalil on for
say BGS doing this in this situation because he would know about this for sure. Like surely,
like having a chat. Yeah.
If he was doing 30,000 cards a month or whatever he was doing, like this has to have happened to him at one point.
I have a lot of questions around, and obviously I make jokes about it with regulation, but it is. There's a lot of things that in a business consumer, or I suppose a retailing aspect, that there isn't that traceability. But that really runs you into problems when things go missing, or you enter some kind of murky swamp of stuff. We'll say when things go wrong, it's like a business would ask for a receipt, but this isn't a normal customer business transaction.
Yeah, I just think that. Also, too, for CSG's perspective, just how little accountability they seem to be showing at the moment. That to me is really interesting. And excuse me, we're talking about tracing of our purchases and stuff like that. Well, is there any?
Well, the thing we do trace is the postage, right? And that's the onus on the individuals.
Do you mean tracking?
Tracking, yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Like, you look traceability on the actual purchase of the asset. Well, you don't get a receipt. You know what I mean? You don't get that with a collector card.
But to be honest, though, too, like tracking is also very much a personality thing. So some guys don't care about tracking and they'd rather save the $4.
And then you've got idiots that chuck stuff in plain white envelopes.
And you've got that component. But I was going to say, but then people like me that
put tracking on everything.
Yeah, I would rather pay the extra $4 because then I know that it's going to come. Well, at least you got tracking on it, right? And you can.
But do you know what happens when that parcel gets lost?
Well, then you get insurance too.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
And, I mean, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but I've only had one parcel go missing, and then Australia Post paid out the maximum amount, so it was a really good outcome.
That's if you're sending a card off for grading, and this is me playing devil's advocate here. If I'm sending a card off for grading, it's worth money, right?
Well, in this case, it was his highest value card.
All right. So we'll say it's $1,000 card to be on the low. I'm not going to explode this story too much, but say it's $2,000 card. Why wouldn't you send it with tracking?
No, it got lost at CSG.
At CSG?
Yeah.
So you track it so you know it got to them?
No. So CSG received it, and then
Sure. So I'm just going through the audit trail though.
Yeah, sorry, mate. Yeah.
If they've got there's evidence to show that they received your card, and when you're filling out the paperwork, you say what the card is, right? That's your receipt. When you submit, that's your receipt.
Oh, like he's declared value.
You've declared what the card is.
Yeah, radio.
And if they lose it, they're declaring that they've lost what you've said that they've submitted and accepted.
Yeah, and to respond to that, I was just trying to say it's like, I actually think there's not enough clarity on the CSG end because obviously they don't have any security footage to track cards and watch their employees. And I actually can imagine the temptation that these guys could have. I don't know what a grader gets paid. I'm assuming they get paid relatively low. And if they're handling $1 million worth of cards every day, like, you know what I mean? Like,
look,
like being in the Garden of Eden and being told sort of not to eat the apple or whatever, you know?
Yeah,
like,
true. But all right, so the question there is,
I'm not shocked that these cards go missing.
Does this grading company, and we can ask the guys at Slabbed as well.
Yeah.
When they receive the card, like when I submit cards to a grader, they send me acknowledgement that they've received it. When I'm sending it, I'm telling you what I'm sending, right? There's paperwork and administrative stuff that needs to be done.
Yeah,
so
correct. Yep.
When they're asking for a receipt, and this is just is something that's been lost in translation here, that they're asking for the receipt of the transaction that's being referred to, not the receipt for the purchase of a piece of cardboard.
No, they actually specifically said, "Do you have the purchase receipt for this card?"
Idiots.
Yeah, right. That's right.
Okay.
I think
I would have just countered with no, I don't, but I have the receipt of me submitting this card to you to be graded, and you accept receiving this card.
Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying, but I think CSG's perspective is that they're going to say, okay, so this is what you paid for the card, we'll reimburse you for that. Or if you can't...
But if you've declared what the card is, you just look at comps yourself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
definitely, I agree with that. Why aren't they just paying comps?
Yeah.
Which is what they should be doing.
Well, they should be. And yeah, it's just interesting that they're...
Yeah.
I
25%. I've just been watching The Sopranos. So we call it points now. This is what we say.
Oh, no. Points. Oh, no. I got to get back into The Sopranos. I only got through the first 3.5 seasons.
It's classic.
Yes, and I've got access to it now, so I should probably watch it.
All right, let's tie up, big fella. Let's do our last promotional giveaway. So this week was week 5 of our giveaway on our Facebook page.
All right, I'm going to resize the screen.
Thank you, sir. So we had 7 entrants: Bobby, Simon, Al, James, Ross, Aaron, and Martin. So I wish everybody good luck, but I will say that Martin has gone in every week.
I think Martin and Al have gone in every week.
Yeah, and Al's the other one too. So look, everybody, thank you everyone for participating, but in particular Martin.
Yeah, for sure.
He's always been very supportive of the show, so thank you.
I am going to... Whoop, that's not that window. Where's my list? Did I? Oh, let's say...
And if Winston Neville's listening, Winston, we want you to come on the show, boss.
Yeah, Winston, we want you on the show.
We're calling you out.
We would like to have you on for a laugh and some fun and some serious talk. But we want
with you, not at you.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
No. You're only getting laughed at if your name's Jayson Tatum at the moment. It's okay. That was rough.
That was unreasonable. Yeah.
I was going to try and find a way to change his name to Russell Westbrook, but it's just too long. Anyway, I have a list here. I've put it in. Let's go to the dice roller. We're going to roll 2 dice.
Let's go, mate.
All right. We are going far out. Why can't I ever get a low number? We are going 11 times. 11 times. All right. Let's go. Let's hit it. Let's go down a little bit so that everybody can see. Randomize. All right. Okay. I'm just going to keep clicking, right? Is there anything you'd like to say while I'm clicking these buttons? I'm just going to keep hitting again.
Actually, I do have something to say while you're doing that.
Nice.
I purchased this week some display stands for PSA graded cards.
Oh, nice.
The company is called Stand Up Displays. I think it was $9 for 5 stands.
Okay.
And I'll put some up onto the social so that people could have a look at them. I think they're really nice. I think for the price that you pay,
And they're
I
not
think
like they're
very-
an actual holder stand. Like I'm just trying to look at your screen. Okay, so what's at the bottom of the card? Oh, okay, so it's like a little.
it literally just slots into it. So
Oh, that's nice. It's better than the little triangular.
yeah, so
I'm,
it doesn't sit on it. Actually, it sits in very tightly. So if I was going to be, grading or critiquing this product, so I think the good thing about it is it's very stable, and
Yep.
the price I think is very reasonable. The downside, so this is just my personal perspective. I always put my slabs into bags, and
So
I
it
have
doesn't deal well with the bag.
I have sort of. I'm not going to deny this. I have a little bit of OCD when it comes to that part. Like it just like triggers
Really?
me.
You mean like the time I had an unsleeved card in a slab and you very promptly gave me a sleeve for it? Get a couple more bags off you, by the way.
I'm not going to name names here, but I went around to a friend's place who had, I reckon, 100 plus slabs that didn't have sleeves on them, and I literally sat there for an hour and like sleeved them up for him.
Oh my god!
I was traumatized.
All right,
Anyway,
now
so
I'm gonna quickly interrupt you. I've randomized this list 10 times.
Yep.
So Martin, if you're watching the stream or the YouTube, I'm really sorry I've randomized it 10 times and your name is up the top. I have one more to go.
Oh, he's up the top now. Okay, cool.
Martin is up the top.
Oh, Martin.
One more time, we're going to randomize this.
Okay. Good luck.
Ross Berman, you are the winner of our week 5 and final week promotion.
Yeah.
So I'm really sorry, Martin. I realize I'm just paused. I'm going through the product review and I'm like, oh, I've only randomized this 10 times. Poor Martin's going to be watching the video thinking he's won but no. Ross, congratulations. You are the winner of our the Facebook group share promotion.
Yep.
Thanks again to Slab for running this in conjunction.
Thanks for all your support, Slab. And actually, I believe this is the last week of our agreed promotional.
Yeah.
So thank you for everything you've done for us, Slab. We really appreciate it.
No, it was good. It has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, we might with the YouTube and the Twitch side of things. And if I ever decide to do TikTok, although I don't think I'm insane, so I might not. If we ever think about doing some other promotional stuff, even if it's not in conjunction with Slabbed, maybe we'll get in touch with the boys and organise some vouchers and stuff to sort of promote that. But yes, thank you to Slabbed.
Yeah. So I'm
Ross,
not sure if you said this, but Ross, you have to contact us to claim the prize.
You do need to reach out to us on Facebook. So post in the group.
Facebook. Messenger. We'll take anything. Just you just have to reach out and we'll
just reach out on the socials.
Yeah.
And then we can hook you up with your prize.
Yep.
Awesome.
Cool. Let's tie it off there, Ad. That'll be fine, hey?
Yeah. Let's wrap this bad boy up.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Stephen Curry. Well done, Warriors. You long-suffering Warriors fans.
Yeah, you long-suffering Warriors fans. Congratulations.
Yep. Suffering your jocks, Boston. Sorry, that's the Laker fan in me coming out.
Thanks, everyone, for listening this week. We really appreciate your support. Have a lovely week and take care of yourselves.
See you guys.
Thanks, Ad.